What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be starting a series where I basically just sit down and talk about what I think were the craziest things that happened in week one and what we know after each week of the season. Of course, we're doing this right now after only the first week, so it's not going to have as much context in this video because there's still a lot that we don't know. But I'm still going to go over what I think is true about a lot of the teams in the NFL and what I think a lot of people are overreacting about. Everyone's already talked about the Thursday game and the Friday game at this point. I'm a little late to that, but quickly going over that, of course, first of all, the Chiefs, first game of the season, they did what they needed to do. Chiefs are going to be scary this year. Honestly, from week one, I think they had probably the most impressive performance, which is scary because starting the season off that good for them is just even scarier because the last few years, they've started the season off rough. Last year, they started, of course, with a loss to the Lions, but this year, just completely different. Winning against the Ravens. Of course, it was very close. It came down to a toe, but it's still a big deal for the Chiefs. Other else than that, though, on Friday, just got a feel for Jordan Love getting injured. Would have lost that game anyway, probably, but it's not even about the game. It's about the amount of time he's going to miss. Actually, recently came out that he's not going to miss the whole season, which is obviously very good, but still unfortunate that he has to miss time this early in the season. But that's that out of the way. Let's now move on to Sunday, which was an absolutely crazy day of football. Let's just go ahead and get things started with the biggest upset from this week. The New England Patriots went into Cincinnati and defeated them. Joe Burrow is now 1-8 in the first week and the second week of the season. I just remember a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, him throwing 5 interceptions in Pittsburgh and then coming back later that year and absolutely destroying them. But that's really all that I remember from week one, week two performances that Joe Burrow struggled in. This year, I didn't really watch this game too much, but I'm sure it was a fluke. Saw a few highlights. Jacoby Brissett was Jacoby Brissett, and what do you expect out of him? Nothing crazy. But they did just enough to win. Of course, it's like the old Patriots way. It's almost like Bill Belichick was still there, but of course with the new head coach, still ended up getting a win in week one. The Patriots always keep things close early on in the year and keep things interesting. Then they usually tend to fall off. So I don't expect this to stay at all. Moving on, the Dolphins and the Jaguars is another game I want to talk about. I'm just not sure about this Jaguars team, man. I mean, the offense is just, at times, it can go so stagnant, and it's just really tough to watch because you know there's a lot of talented players on that team. Travis Etienne, of course, Trevor Lawrence had a great throw in the back of the end zone. But other than that, it wasn't a great game from Lawrence. Tua didn't have a great game either. Tyreek Hill really bailed him out, to be honest, towards the end of the game with the touchdown, and then just the big plays from the Dolphins when it mattered most, which the Jaguars were just not able to make. One of the more interesting games from the early game slate was the Texans versus the Colts, which the Texans ended up coming out on top. Of course, I expected this, but I did not expect it to be as close as it was. The Colts are going to be good this year. Believe that. As long as Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, they're going to be very good. The Texans, on the other hand, Stephon Diggs had his 2 touchdowns. Other than that, it wasn't really amazing in this game. Only a few catches, not many yards at all. But, of course, they still have Nico Collins. They still have Tank Dell. Probably the best receiving core in the NFL, and that's why they ended up winning this game. A few other games that there wasn't really much to talk about. Bears versus Titans. I wish I could say a lot of positive things about Caleb Williams' debut, but the only thing that was positive is that they got the win. They did end up getting the victory over a Titans team that's probably going to be disappointing a lot of people this year. Cardinals-Bills was another interesting game from the early game slate. The Bills ended up winning a really, really high-scoring game. Marvin Harrison is the one guy I want to talk about. He was wide open in the end zone at the end of the game. He was wide open a few times is what I've heard from people. I haven't really seen the highlights on it, but he was wide open a few times, and Kyler Murray just missed him is what I've heard. So it's going to be interesting to see how he rebounds. He's on my fantasy team, so you can tell how I feel right now. But anyways, 1 catch for 4 yards is absolutely not good for a guy like him, who is one of the best receiver prospects we've seen in recent memory. And I just really hope the Cardinals do not waste him. The Rams made an incredible comeback. It looked like the Lions were going to fold. It looked like my prediction was going to come true. I had the Rams winning this game, but they didn't. Matthew Stafford missed a few passes there late in the game. Almost threw a pick to end the game before overtime, but lucky to get away with that, but it didn't really matter. This Rams defense was exhausted in overtime. I'm not really sure what happened. The dual threat of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs is honestly incredible. And they have one of the best wide receivers in the league in Amon-Ra St. Brown. And arguably the best tight end in the league right now in Sam Laporta, which is still insane to me that they have these many playmakers, as well as Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball. I underestimated this team for sure. Looking back, I definitely should have picked them to win, but you miss some, you get some right. But that's the video, and this is actually me after finishing editing this video. I was trying to get this video uploaded by the end of Tuesday, like Tuesday night, and it was hard to really talk about a lot of other important games like the Cowboys beating the Browns or the Monday Night Football game or other games like that. So just let me know in the comment section below what I missed, and I'll be responding to all the comments down there. So yeah, there were definitely a few things that I missed in this video, but I'll be doing this type of video every single week pretty much. So I'll try to hit on every single game a little bit better next time. Once again, let me know in the comments if you want to debate about anything or if you want to let me know about a game that I missed. I'll be responding to all those once again. But that is going to do it for this video. I'll see you all in the next one.